in the chat, so if you want to go ahead, mod me, I can try and keep an eye on the chat.
I don't know how.
We are live. We are live.
We are live. Hey guys, welcome to the live chat. It's Beretta Senior here, Young Beretta's here, Shoot Ride Live is here, Burgundy Palmer, Justin Opinion, Young Beretta. We've got Josh here also from Terrible Tactical. Did I miss anyone?
The Shaggy Rifleman.
That's right, Shaggy Rifleman is here. This is our first time hosting a live chat like this, so we do welcome the comments. If you all want to throw in some comments, go ahead and do that. Young Beretta is going to try to keep an eye on those along with others to be able to air out those comments, and we'll be able to discuss those as we go. I did make up a quick format here for us to use to try to keep us going. So the first thing I wanted to do was talk about why you guys started the channel, what got you interested in the guns, and where you're hoping the channel is going to take you. I mean, obviously, it's a tough time to be in YouTube right now. But if one of you wanted to just start and say, you know, what got you interested in YouTube, making a gun channel, how long have you believed in guns and that kind of thing? But if one of you wanted to just start and okay. Okay, I think we're good. Josh, you want to start us off? How did you get started in all this?
You're roboting a little bit, but I think I gathered most of that. Can anyone else hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, I got you.
Yay,
Yeah,
nay?
I hear you.
Yes.
You guys
Can
hear
you
me?
hear us?
It was roboting a little bit. I don't know
Yeah,
if
we
you
got
guys
you,
can hear
man.
me or not.
I hear you loud and clear.
I can hear you, Beretta, but you were roboting for a little bit. The last half of that, it was a little. It was like, meh. So, are we good?
Yeah, I think we're good now.
I can hear you.
Yes, no, maybe
Yeah.
so.
Can you hear us?
I think we're good. Well, I did. My dad always had me out shooting. We got some property up north, and it's always been something I was interested in. And I grew up shooting. I grew up around guns. I grew up with the respect of what a gun is, and what it's capable of doing. So, you know, I always hunted and stuff like that. And when I got old enough, first guns and all that, I definitely did. And you know, I've just always been a gun lover, a gun guy. I always shot. And then starting the YouTube channel, you know, I discovered that this was even a thing on YouTube. I didn't even know. I thought YouTube was like kicked in the nuts videos and cat videos. And then, you know, at first you come across a few channels, some of the bigger guys, and then you grow from there. And you know, I just figured that because I feel the way that I do about the Second Amendment, and because the way that I love all of this stuff, I'm super into it, that I could get my voice out there too, and be part of the community and meet some cool people like you guys. So that's that.
That's cool. Gotta love that. What about you, Justin Opinion? What got you started?
I hardly even remember, but I think the first couple videos I did were literally like, you know, me sitting at a card table with a camera pointed at it, and I was doing something like semi-technical, and it was one of those, I can show you or explain how to do this thing, and the idea was that YouTube was a good way to share it with, you know, a half a dozen people. And at some point, you know, not even immediately, but at some point I had like, you know, a subscriber that I didn't know. That made me scratch my head, and I said, well, this is weird, you know, because literally before I was just sharing them, you know, I would tell my buddies at the range, hey, you know, you can watch this on YouTube, and, you know, I'll show you how to change the firing pin in that gun or whatever. So then I was kind of like, okay, well, that's interesting. So it just kind of grew from there. And then, you know, as was just said, you kind of, obviously you're in the culture, you're interested in the topic, and so you watch all the channels that are out there, you know, starting with the big names, and then you start to spread out as subject matter. You know how the tentacles take you through the internet as you get interested in subject matter, and so it just kind of grew from there. It was sort of like, yeah, I can probably do a little bit of that.
It makes sense. Yeah, one thing's for sure is you can find just about anything you're interested in on YouTube, whether it's changing a flat tire or replacing, you know, a sink in your house or something. You can find just about every information you want. And one thing about it is, like you, first guy I started watching was Hickok 45. I'm like, have you checked this guy out? I'm talking to young Beretta. Man, check this guy out. He's got a bunch of subscribers and he does some interesting videos and talks about the guns and stuff. So that was the first one I started watching too. And then lately, as of late, I've gotten away from all the bigger channels and started paying a lot more attention to the smaller channels and what they're trying to do and the message they're trying to bring forward. What about you, Burgundy Bomber? What do you think?
So I kind of came into YouTube organically. Sorry, my phone is having some major malfunctions right now. It started talking at me for no reason.
I think you found your destination, like you're here already.
So GB Guns invited me onto his YouTube channel. And so I was on with him for a few months and started just doing some things on the side on my own. I'm no longer affiliated with that channel. However, I've just been continually pursuing ideas and options and still trying to grow myself as a YouTuber slowly but surely. So, I've been a shooter my entire life. My husband is a police officer. He's former Marine. I've been shooting since I was 12. I have family who is in the military, and so I've just grown up with individuals who are really like-minded, warrior mindset. Protect your people, protect your family, and so I really enjoy the people in this industry, and I'm just interested to see where it can go, and I'm not exactly sure where that is yet.
Well, one thing about it is for sure when you get involved in like live chats like this, you get exposed to a lot more people who are subscribers to other channels. And I think this will be beneficial and have people go over and check out your channel. And I do highly encourage our subs to do that, is go over and check out your channel. And as far as your husband is concerned, I do work with him, everybody, and he is a great guy. And I thank him for his service.
Yep, thank you.
Shoot, ride, live. What do you say, Joe?
Hey, I'm kind of in the same boat as Josh. I grew up hunting. I was always around guns. We had property out in Eastern Oregon. And it's just the firearm aspect of it is something that's just never left me. I don't hunt as much anymore, probably because I'm, down here in Portland working constantly all the time. I just don't have the time to go out and do it. And when I started watching YouTube, it's the same deal. Like I saw TikTok 45 and I saw Demolition Ranch, those bigger channels. I was like, these guys get to have fun on camera shooting. Like I'm doing this stuff. Why don't I get a camera and do it myself?
Right.
So it got to the point where I started doing that. And I actually ran into you guys in one of the gun stores here locally one time. And I heard you talking about it. And I was like, hey, that's when I just started. I think I made maybe 1 or 2 videos at the time. I hadn't done a lot of it. It's really fun, and I think a big part of it is that I really enjoy getting to bring forward the message of the Second Amendment, and we need to stick together, and being able to alert people, like Guns and Gadgets channel. That's an awesome channel. You guys have definitely check that one out, because he's on top of everything, all the new laws and all of the garbage that happens out there. But being able to bring that message to people that don't necessarily see it on the daily basis, and just go have fun and maybe educate somebody at the same time, and try out new things. I just recently got my first 2 T&E guns. I picked them up this morning for a company that decided to take a chance on me. So it's just something that's really fun to do and record when I'm doing it anyways.
Right. And one thing's for sure, I mean, young Beretta and I both remember the day we met you at Key Sporting Goods. I'll go ahead and throw the name out there, give them a little bit of action here. Key Sporting Goods is where we ran into you, and what you see is pretty much what you get in real life. We were the same way. We made a friend when we walked away, and shortly later found out that you had your channel up and going. So we hugely want to throw a shout out to you and encourage people to check out your channel.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, man. I mean, we were all a smaller channel at one point in time. And I remember young Beretta and I having many discussions about, hey, we're at 500 or 1,000 subs and we're not going anywhere. Is this ever going to amount to anything? You know, and my message to him is the same message that I would send to both of you: is keep the content rolling, keep the content coming, because the people will come for the content. People come to watch Justin Opinion's excellent videos for all the work he puts into them. And subs go to him because he makes a better video than 95% of the people that are out there. There's no doubt about that. We're striving to try to keep up with him. So if you want to see a top quality video, look at Justin Opinion's work. He puts a ton of work into that. And that's one thing about all the smaller channels they can also learn from watching some of the medium-sized channels is, what are they doing? How are they covering it? You know, it's not ripping off somebody else's ideas. It's seeing what is successful, what works out there, and then trying to see how you can move your message and incorporate some of those ideas into your videos to make your videos even more successful. Because look, when Youngbred and I started, we were with an iPhone, 4 or something like that.
iPhone 3GS, yeah, it was terrible.
And can I tell you, the videos were terrible. The videos were not very good at all. And so as you go along and as you get more and more practice at it, you'll get better and better. But content is where it's at. And then after you start bringing in the content, you're going to change your techniques here and there, and your videos will get better and better as time rolls along.
Oh yeah, brother. There's nothing more embarrassing for me than to look back at my old stuff.
Yeah, Youngbred and I watch them every once in a while. I'm like, dude, turn that off. So just so y'all know, we've all been there. We've all worked through that. One thing Youngbred and I did not have was any of the larger channels or middle-sized channels, you know, giving us shout outs and stuff like that to try to help move us along. And I think that that is important. And I think that's something that we need to do. When we like somebody's content, we see their drive and determination to keep making videos and try to get the Second Amendment word out there, is we want to support those channels and make sure that people know that we like watching it. Maybe you guys will too. At least check it out, right? And as bad as YouTube is now to the Second Amendment content creators, we really need to support each other. So that's my thinking on that.
Yeah, agreed.
Want to go to question number 2 here. What is and you guys can fire off individually whenever you want. I won't keep on calling out people. So fire off when you're ready and we'll just take turns. What's your favorite recreational handgun to shoot? And I'll start off because I'm going to get it out there before somebody else steals my gun. And I'm going to say it's the 1911, be it a Dan Wesson 1911, which is one of my top brands, or the new Standard Manufacturing 1911 that I've been shooting lately. I have a couple videos up on it. If I want to go out and just shoot and have some fun and enjoy my shooting day, it's a 1911 pistol. Floor is open to any of you.
Yeah,
what do you got there? Is that a 1911, Josh?
This is well, hold on.
There you go.
Do you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're good.
All right. I don't know what happened or what you guys heard earlier. I got kicked out of the chat somehow. Everybody was roboting for me and all that, but you guys can hear me now though, right?
Yes, we got you.
All right. So this is my STI Hawk 5-inch. It is a little bit of sacrilege, right? I'm a very traditionalist. The 1911 is my favorite. I bought this to shoot competition with USPSA, 3 guns, stuff like that. So it is a double stacked 9mm. It holds 21 rounds in the legal length magazine, and it's awesome. I shot with this today. I shot USPSA today earlier in the morning. I took 3rd, a little pat on my own back, I guess. But yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. And I choose this. A lot of guys shoot the CZs, but being a 1911 guy, this was my only option. And the STIs are definitely not the cheapest, but this thing is a freaking Ferrari, man. This thing drives itself.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Very sweet, Josh.
Yeah.
Who else?
That's a tough one, I think, for actual favorite. I think my absolute favorite all around has got to be the HK VP9. This thing is probably one of my absolute favorite on the planet handguns. But if I'm out just dinking around, I'd say it's actually tied between this and the 92A1. I absolutely love the hell out of this gun. But
right
as for comfort, this is my, the HK is my I guess you'd say home defense handgun, even it's one of like 9 home defense guns I have. But
Okay.
I love shooting both of these.
Beautiful pistols.
I'd have to say my favorite recreational gun to shoot is a revolver chambered in 38 special.
Oh yeah. Revolver's going to come up again later. What about you, Dave?
You know, I'm gonna maybe break the mold and the paradigm of what I'm probably better known for. If first of all, the question made me scratch my head because I can't remember the last time I went to the range just to go have recreational fun.
Go through.
So, if you said tomorrow, you know, hey, you know what, you don't have to. If my boss called me and said you don't have to come to work today, just go out to the range and have fun instead. But the only rule is you can't do any work. You have to just go have fun. I'm probably gonna take the CZ Scorpion Evo 3.
Nice.
And that's what I'm going to play with all day.
Right on. I think that's an excellent choice. Not something that everyone would immediately think of either.
Yep.
Nice job, Dave. Burgundy Bomber?
And that's what I'm going to.
So I am a huge 1911 fan. I have a American Classic Commander, which is just a single stack 45 ACP. It's powerful. It is so much fun. But I'm actually going to say my favorite recreational firearm is my Grand Power P1 Ultra. So these bad boys have a rotating barrel, and it helps incredibly like manage that recoil. Super comfortable, full ambi controls.
What caliber?
It's a 9mm.
Gotcha.
Yep. Absolutely comfortable. It is so much fun to shoot, and it is dead accurate.
Awesome.
A lot of people shoot those in competition, especially overseas and like Europe and stuff. A lot of guys love those guns a lot.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And since you guys
that
were showing-
rotating barrel. I shot the Beretta PX4 Storm with the rotating barrel. I'll tell you what, that makes a difference.
It really
does.
Since you guys were showing some wonderful pistols there, I'll show you, see if I can get it in the sun. There we go. It is a Dan Wesson Heritage, brand new to us, and have not fired it yet. It's got some custom grips on it right here already, and it is ready to go to the range as soon as I get a chance. But there is a beautiful 1911. On the cheaper side of Dan Wesson's, and cheaper side of Dan Wesson's equals, I think, around $1,500, but it is 100% forged parts, top quality, just like some of the guns you guys are showing there. But that's Dan Wesson Heritage right there.
Yeah. And just to add on that, I also have one of those. And even though it's on the cheaper side of Dan Wesson, I don't think there's any corners cut whatsoever.
I would agree with that.
I think it's an excellent gun. Excellent gun.
And it's one that's been in their lineup for a long time. It doesn't get as much fanfare as it should. I think it's better made than 95% of like 1911s that are out there that are not the full custom shop type 1911s. And it'll last your lifetime, and it would be a wonderful 1911 for anyone.
That is a beautiful gun.
Since there's so many 1911 going around, I went and grabbed mine real quick. This is my Rock Island Armory TAC Ultra FS 45. This thing shoots sweet, and this for cheap guys like me.
Right.
This is the best bang for your buck that you're gonna get with everything that comes on. So that's
right on.
Mine.
Yep. Hey, don't talk bad about Rock Island Armory. They make great guns at a really reachable price for a lot of people.
Right, and a lot of people
yeah.
need that. They need to be more in a little bit of a lower budget. And what's the best gun you can get for that lower budget?
Yep.
What about you, young Beretta? What's your favorite gun in your collection now?
Probably my SIG MPX pistol, Gen 2. Thing runs like a machine gun, dude.
Yeah.
Beretta, anything in your hands runs like a machine gun.
That is
double taps,
right?
Yeah.
It is sick, and it's not a fluke, guys. He's an incredible shot. Anyway, off to something else. What are your guys' thoughts and feelings on your favorite CCW handgun? Maybe not the one that you take all the time, maybe the one you take all the time. As far as a CCW concealed carry, when size, wants to be smaller or whatever for CCW, what do you guys prefer? Anything in particular?
I personally picked a 17 because I can conceal it got high round count and ammo is cheap.
You like that over the 19?
Longer sight radius, overall grip, yeah, it feels better in my hand than a 19 personally.
Okay. What about the rest? What is that?
Wheel gun gang, son. Me and Beretta Jr. Me and Beretta Jr. are on the same page, I think.
Yeah.
We definitely are.
That's a Smith. That's a Smith 642. I'm running the Hogue mono grips on it. I run that Appendix IWB and a Harry's Holsters Icon. This thing is awesome. I run Winchester Ranger plus P's in it. This is a great gun. I'm old school. I like all metal guns. I prefer all steel when I can get it. Sometimes I also carry the Model 19, all right, from the 70s. Okay, that's a pinned and recessed Armaloid gun. And but yeah, I like a wheel gun, man. I can shoot them pretty well. I also carry 1911s and stuff, but for every single day, I could put this in my pocket. I could carry it in the waistband. I could do a lot with this. You could do contact shots. You don't have to worry about going out of battery. And
Right.
Yes, it's slower to reload than, a semi-auto or whatever. You definitely have less shots. But statistically speaking, I should be all right. Plus, I work in a gun shop, so we got shotguns behind the door and pistols under the registers. And I'm usually on YouTube or at work, so, it works for me.
Yeah. Young Beretta and I are both huge fans, as you guys know or may know, of revolvers, and that's grown and grown the last couple of years. I mean, we probably have something close to 30 revolver videos up and almost as many revolvers featured. So we have really gotten into it the last couple of years. We agree with a lot of the benefits of the revolver. Yes, it's not great for a prolonged gunfight, or for an average one or two bad guys. A revolver will do the job every time. And you don't have to worry about it going out of battery. You don't have to worry about some kind of hiccup. For the most part, worst case scenario, you pull the trigger a second time, as opposed to clearing a malfunction or anything like that. So revolvers, I think, do have their place. They're not for everybody, but for those of us that like it and want to spend the time it takes to master a revolver, because it's not like riding a bike. You need to spend some time shooting a revolver and practicing with a revolver. But once you do that, and once you have the bug, you'll want another revolver.
I'm seeing, I don't know about you guys, I'm sure you are as well, but I'm seeing a resurgence in the interest in revolvers in general in the industry.
Well,
and
I hope you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, look at the covers of all the gun magazines. There's like maybe 50% of them are showing revolvers on the cover half the time now, and I think about half of the last reviews that I've been assigned, things that aren't for my channel, have been for wheel guns. So it's nice to see.
What's your personal thoughts, Dave, on concealed carry, and are you still using the 365?
Yeah, it's hopefully Tim from Military Arms Channel isn't watching. I don't want to get him upset, but the day the P365 came in, and I got an early copy of it. So when it was first introduced, I put it in the waistband, and I haven't taken it out since.
That's good.
It's just, that's the one.
And it wasn't just your testing that came out really, really good. We did a lot of testing on a copy that we had also, and it was awesome. I mean, it was a terrific shooter for us, and it's definitely one that I wouldn't think twice about grabbing if size really, I wanted the size to be smaller, that I would grab that and throw that in my pocket and carry it. Because I carry a fairly large gun for concealed carry, which is a Glock 30 and 45 ACP. But if I wanted something smaller, or if I wanted to pocket carry, that 365 is hard to beat.
Yep.
Burgundy Bomber, what do you think? You're muted.
I know, shutting down my phone. For some reason, it went into this assistance mode. It keeps talking to me.
Oh.
I actually carry a SIG P365. It is one of my absolute favorite guns. I did a review on it. It was a friend of mine had one, and I'm shooting steel from 50 yards like it is no problem. Minimal recoil for such a compact gun. I was just so impressed. I went out and got one that same week. So personally, I absolutely love the P365.
I will echo that thought on the minimal recoil. I've shot a lot of 9mm that are this smallest type size, may not hold 10 rounds, but I've shot a lot of 9mm that are smaller in size, and the felt recoil on average is almost double what I feel like what I experience when I'm shooting a 365. So I don't know how they did that. I guess that's called SIG magic, but somehow they figured that out. And if you have not shot a 365, then you owe it to yourself to at least check it out, because it's a small package and it handles recoil for you very well. It has a very good target. I'm sorry, very good trigger. And I shot it from like 35 or 36 yards away, and I was banging the steel every time. So I agree with you. It's surprising how far accurate it is. The sights on it are excellent.
Yep.
Joe, what do you say?
Exactly the way I feel
man.
about my P238s. They're just, real accurate, extreme little recoil, and a lot of fun. And, I shoot 9 and 357 recreationally, but for pocket carry, I like the SIG P238. I've not tried a 365 yet, but
Yeah, Seven, you really should try the 365. It's amazing. But yeah, the 238 is another good one. We shot the 938 earlier this summer, or last summer. Yeah, last summer for sure. Yeah.
I didn't care for it as much as the 365, though. Just saying. Just keeping it real.
In the pocket, a big 365
Hey,
over here.
I'm sorry, but I got to tell the truth. When we got people that are watching, well, should I get this one or should I get that one? And I've got to put my honest opinion out there and just tell you that 365 shoots amazing.
yeah. Have you guys tried the 238? Just out of curiosity.
We haven't, right, young brother?
No, not the 380 version. I'm sure it's a nice shooter though, over the 9.
Yeah, I mean it's all metal guns, so it has pretty much no recoil, and it's surprisingly accurate. And I've got the Equinox, as some of us might say, with night sights, and so it's fun. It's a good gun.
Right on. Joe, did you have anything?
So I carried actually for a long time the HK VP9 SK.
Okay.
Carried that one, which I absolutely love it. Like I said, the VP9 is one of my favorites. But as soon as the 43X came out, I jumped on it. 10-round flush magazines in a slimmer package, and I'm waiting for Shield Arms to get their stuff together and get those 15-round flush magazines finished up. But this thing shoots great too. And on the subject of the 365, since all you guys love it, I got to tell you my story.
Okay.
I bought one not too long after they came out, and I took it up to where I shoot, and it was it shot amazing for the first 4 magazines. And then halfway through the 5th magazine, a spring fell out of the trigger assembly. So I didn't know that that's what had happened at the time, but there was no trigger. It wouldn't go back in the battery. Nothing was working. So I took it back to where I bought it. We pulled it apart. The spring fell out onto the counter. And then that was the end of the 365.
Gotcha. And I have heard other stories about that, as just an opinion, and I both have. Like he said, he got an early one. I think we got a pretty early one too. Not sure about the issues. I've heard also now that those early issues are gone. They've been taken care of, and there's no other issues with them. But I do understand, as a buyer or an owner, when you have a bad experience with something, that you set it to the side, you fix it and trade it off, you get rid of it, and you don't go back to it because you did have that bad experience. So I do understand that too, for sure. All right.
I'm not knocking it though. I know it's a great gun. I just
I think unfortunately they were hit or miss, initially, and they did have a lot of problems. The only problem I had with mine was I isolated one magazine that I had problems with. And
I remember that.
And the problem was that it wouldn't lock the slide bag. So if you're going to have a malfunction, that's not a bad one to have. But if you were using that gun for defense, the slide not locking back is going to cause you about a second and a half or 2 of hesitation. So it's not insignificant, but it's a little different. But once I got that mag out of circulation, it was good to go.
The problem with it is, of course, if you count on it as your CCW piece or whatever, and you get into something that's prolonged, you know, but once you figured out what that magazine was, like you said, you took that
Right.
magazine out of the rotation.
Well, and they got the 15 rounder now, 15 round magazine for it now. So there's your reload.
Is that a
right
flush magazine or is it extended?
there.
Yeah.
An extendo for sure.
It's extended about like that.
All right, guys, off to the next question. Do you guys prefer leather holsters or Kydex holsters, and why? And it doesn't have to be everybody, but anyone that has a strong feeling one way or the other, if you wanted to share it with me. One thing, I'll start it off by saying I completely switched over to Kydex. One of my favorite type of Kydex holsters is the Safari Land that it locks when you put the gun into it.
Yeah.
So it's a lockable holster design. I don't remember the model number.
ALS.
The ALS, there you go. Yeah. So that has always been one of my favorites, and one of the reasons why is because it locks in, and I'm used to it because it's very similar to my duty carry holster.
I was going to ask you that.
Yeah, so I'm kind of making that transition from one holster to the next, and they kind of operate the same way. But I have to say, just like Josh, I think, said, he's liking metal guns more and more. I'm also liking metal guns more and more, and I'm leaning more going back towards leather holsters. I'm going to make a move back into leather holsters and see how that works out for me. I'm getting ready to retire here in 2 more years. So the necessity of having the lockable holster work the exact same as my duty holster isn't as big as it once was. But I'm thinking about going back into leather holsters. What's your guys' idea?
For me, it depends on the gun. If I've got particularly revolvers, more so than just saying steel guns, and maybe some 1911s too. But if I've got a gun that I think has some character to it, then I feel like I want to put it into a nice leather holster.
Gotcha.
You know? For everyday stuff, you know, all the plastic frame guns and all that, you know, plastic gun, plastic holster, that works for me.
Gotcha.
But the other nice thing about a leather holster, if you buy fairly smart, and then I'll use revolvers again as an example, you could buy a leather holster that'll fit, you know, 20 different guns. You can't. That's very difficult to do with Kydex.
True.
So from a budget perspective, yeah, a good leather holster is a lot more expensive up front, but down the road, it could be a lot cheaper.
Yeah, because they can last. I mean, they can last.
Oh, yeah,
long.
you take care of it. Take care of it, it lasts forever. Yeah.
Absolutely. What do you think, Josh?
Well, I'm gonna have to okay. So I've always been into steel guns, metal guns, always a 1911 revolver guy, SIG, Beretta, all that stuff. I mean, I do carry the J frame in the Icon, which Harry sent to me, and it is an awesome platform. And for a J frame, an alloy frame gun, it works great. It's got good retention. It's easy on and off with the clip. But if I'm carrying the model 19-3, or is it -2? I think it's a 3. Yeah, it's a 3. This is an old gun from the 70s. Okay, this needs to be carried in a leather holster. You know, if I'm carrying like an old Colt or a nice 1911, it needs to be carried in a leather holster. I'm a big traditionalist when it comes to that stuff, and it's just classy, man. It's classy. You put your pinky out, you got your leather holster, your nice wheel gun, your nice 1911. You know, it's the gentlemanly thing to do. You know, I'm not shoving a nice, beautiful gun into some plastic. I can't do it. You know.
Yeah. There's something about the beauty of a leather holster also.
Yeah, it's organic, right? It's real. Yeah. You know, you got steel, you know, that was sourced from the earth. You've got the hide of an animal, whether it be, you know, a cow or a horse or ray skin or shark or ostrich or whatever. You know, it's super cool and it's unique. And a lot of the times, especially like if you're buying like a Milt Sparks or something like that, the hand crafting that goes into it is very impressive to me. So,
absolutely.
I'm a
Seven, what are your
thoughts? I like leather holsters a lot. They're you know, it's just what I'm used to. It's what I've always had pretty much, you know, for OWB carry. But I, honestly, for, you know, daily concealed carry, I like a pocket holster. And my favorite so far is sticky holsters. I've got several of those. That's the brand, Sticky. And,
yes,
yeah,
I've heard of them.
They do a good job. They keep the gun where you want it, and they stay in your pocket. So, yeah, they're pretty cool. And honestly, most of the time with that, even though the 238 is all metal, I usually forget it's there, but it's pretty much always there unless I'm in the shower or sleeping.
Gotcha. What about Kendra or Joe?
Yeah, I'm the same one. I pocket carry all the time almost, and I use a DeSanto sticky holster. And that's what's great. You know, like Josh was saying about the leather holsters, a lot of times they'll fit different things. The DeSantos, I carried first my Shield in it, then the VP9 SK, and now the 43X. So.
Gotcha, Joe.
I typically carry Kydex. I do have a really nice holster from my 1911 from Crossbreed. It's basically the leather backing and then the Kydex pocket.
Gotcha.
So I like to do a lot of stuff like that because it's comfortable, especially against the body. But you have it kind of contour to yourself, but you still get the security of the Kydex.
And one thing about no matter what type of holster you pick, you know, try to make a good decision up front and try to stick with that holster. That way, that muscle memory of drawing that firearm out of that particular holster is the same way every time, whether you go with leather or go with Kydex. If you get a retention device, you need to spend the time mastering that retention device, because you don't want yourself to be grabbing for your handgun and forget that, oh yeah, it's got a button that I have to hit to release it. That's the wrong time to be struggling with that idea. So if you do have a retention device holster or any of the holsters, in my opinion, you need to practice with it at the range if possible. I know that that's tough when you're shooting at indoor ranges. A lot of times they don't allow you to practice from the holster. So sometimes we have to sort something else out or go shoot outside, you know, like Justin Opinion and we do, shoot outside. That way you can practice some of that stuff. But yeah, really good, guys. All right, so I purposely put this in the middle of my outline for everyone. I think it's time for us to go ahead and talk about the 800-pound gorilla in the room and talk about what's going on with YouTube. I've recently, yeah, you're right. You knew this was coming, so I put it in the middle on purpose. That way we can talk a lot about guns and have a lot of good time, and then we'll talk about something that's more negative. For those of you that don't know, all the people that are watching this or will watch it here coming up in the future, YouTube has continued to strike out against gun channels, and my understanding is that they have gone as far to completely demonetizing channels. Right now, and I'm not sure about you guys, and I'll give you a chance to speak, but right now, Young Brett is on here too, so he can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think about 75% of our videos are demonetized.
Yep.
As you guys know, we stress heavily putting on a very respectful presentation with no profanity. We're not calling anybody out. We're trying to just stick to the subject matter and present it in a respectful fashion, because I know as an active duty police officer that we have, you know, 9, 10, 12, 14-year-olds that are watching our videos too. And I want to make sure that whatever we produce, I'm talking about our channel, whatever we produce, if the top man in my line of superiors watches one of our videos, that he's going to give that, you know what, they're doing an okay job on that. So we're not gonna bother him about what he's doing. He's doing a good job and he's keeping it respectful. But 75% of our videos are currently demonetized, which creates obviously a huge financial burden on us. Myself, for the last 7 years, I have put $5,000 of my own money into our channel to keep it running. And that is a fact.
Every year, yeah.
Every year.
Yeah.
So you take that 5,000, you go back 7 or 8 years. That's how long I've been doing it. And so not getting any help at all from YouTube and any type of, you know, acceptance for what we do as far as creators are concerned. Basically, you're going to pay people to talk about basket weaving, but because you're talking about the Second Amendment or handguns or guns or rifles, you guys don't deserve anything. So this is the 800-pound gorilla, and I'll let you guys go ahead and say your piece and let me know what you guys think. Whoever wants to go first.
Go ahead, because I got a lot to say about this. So.
Well, I'll say something. I'm a smaller channel. I don't have 5,000 subs yet. I've been on YouTube doing this for a few years now, maybe 4, 5, 6 years. I don't know. As of late, it's been, really more of a push to produce content all the time, multiple times a week, stuff like that. And, it's hard because I don't have that much support, as it were, as far as, companies or anything like that. And I appreciate the people that do help me out for sure, 110%. But yeah, every time I upload a video to YouTube, it gets instantly demonetized. And then I have to appeal it, right? You do the appeal process, and then supposedly somebody sits there and watches it and makes sure it goes along with their guidelines, which are always changing. And there's no set in stone. They never give you an answer. They never tell you exactly what rule you're breaking or this or that. And luckily, most of my stuff does come back like a week later saying that it's cool, it's fine. We shouldn't have demonetized it. But by that time, especially being a smaller channel, that's where most of your views are coming from. So, I'm going to be on YouTube and doing this and spreading the good word about the Second Amendment no matter what until they physically kick me off. But the money definitely does help. It helps get more guns, more ammo, more gear to review for the channel. It helps me upgrade computers and whatever, so it does suck that we are chastised for talking about a God-given inalienable right reaffirmed by the Constitution that everybody should enjoy if they want to. And this was supposed to be a place for everybody. This is supposed to be a place,
Right.
within reason, right? You're not
Right.
going to put up ISIS videos or whatever, but
Sure.
within reason, we're not doing anything crazy. And, on my channel, I cuss a little bit, we have fun and whatever, but, especially for you guys and other channels like that and Just an Opinion, all that. I mean, you guys are as professional as it gets. And for you guys to be dealing with stuff, it's absurd, man. I mean, and they're really hitting us and they're driving their political agenda, and they are acting as a platform, or they're acting as a publisher, but gaining the rights of a platform. And it's not right. And I don't know what we can do about it. So
I agree. Anybody else?
Yeah, that was actually a cool thing you said, acting as a publisher. And that really is what they're doing. Whenever this topic comes up, there's obviously always going to be the one person who jumps out there and says, hey, it's a private company, they can do whatever they want. And while yes, that's true, you get to a point where even as a private company, and I always use the phone company for those of you, Beretta Senior, who are old enough to remember when there was a company called the phone company.
Right.
Right. The phone company could not refuse service to any customer, whether it be a business or an individual or whatever, and say, well, we're not going to give you a telephone because we don't like the things that you're going to say on it. Right. We're not going to give you a telephone because we don't like the people that you're going to communicate with, and we don't want, we don't like your kind.
Right.
And the reason they couldn't do that, and they were a private company, the reason they couldn't do that was because they were considered the common infrastructure. They were so big and so critical to communications in the world that they were heavily regulated, and still are. There's just a lot more of them now. Unfortunately, legislation and government never catches up very quickly to technology and changes. I think some of that is willful. But YouTube, Facebook, the social media environment is now the public square. That is the common infrastructure. That is the phone company. That
Right.
is where everybody communicates. And I think that the only thing that can really fix it, and it's going to have to be tested in court. There's going to have to be somebody big that takes it to court and wins to set the precedent that these communication companies have to understand that once you get that big, and you are considered the common infrastructure, the public square, if you will, then you no longer have the right to discriminate against any voice. For ideological reasons, and that's clearly the case. It's a culture battle, and right now they have all the chips on their side of the table, and there's really not much anybody can do about it.
Right. They can pass you right over and not deal you any cards at all because they have everything, and you are just a small part, a small cog in the wheel. And unfortunately, you're right. Maybe it started with terrorism and and extreme acts, and then as time has gone on, they've cut out more and more and more and more, and I just don't know where it's going to stop. And I do agree with you. It's going to take something. Either the federal government is going to have to step in to change things, or some other very rich group of people are going to have to take them to court. And it takes a lot of money to take a company like that. I mean, they'll show up with 20 lawyers, you know,
Right.
but it's going to have to go to the big courts, and someone's going to have to make a decision. And I think, you know, Donald Trump has said it a couple times about possibly looking at breaking them up. And I think this is all the reasons why. And they're digging their own grave, is what I think, because eventually they're going to be forced to change. And what they're doing right now is not fair. And what they're doing to the Second Amendment and American citizens, and you know, this whole deal is just not fair. And they're going to get called to task on it. It's just going to be, will channels still be around when that happens, or will all of us be pushed out by that point in time? And I know that a lot of the viewers are tired of hearing about the fight with YouTube and Google and stuff like that, but the fight is real. I don't talk about it too much in my videos because I want to stay on task with what we're trying to do as far as creating content. But I thought this would be a good way for us to discuss it and let all the viewers know, if they turn around and watch this, or they're watching it live now, let them know how we feel about it, what's really happening. Is it still happening? Because some people are like, I thought that was over with. No, it's still happening, and it's gotten even worse than it was before. When you're going to a channel like ours and you're taking 75, 80% of our total content, 200, 300 videos, and you're demonetizing them completely to stop them from being shown, to stop any type of payout to happen, so no more get created. And then for the smaller channels, they're just trying to make sure that they don't get any exposure at all. Right. Let's go ahead and crush them right away, because if we crush their will right away, they'll give up on it, and they won't produce any content, and they'll just give up and walk away and go home, and thus they win, right?
That's it.
I think that's what they're doing. I think that's what they're doing to the new channels, and I know that's what they're doing with some of us mid-range channels and stuff like that. I don't watch the larger channels anymore, so I'm not exactly sure what's happening on their end. But like I told young Beretta, you know, if they were making triple digits before, they're making less than half of that now, and probably more like a third. So it's affecting everybody. The saving throw for the larger channels, and I'm talking about people that have 1 million viewers or more, is the people that are donating money on Patreon.
Yeah.
The people that are giving money on Patreon to those larger channels to the tune of 10, 15,000 a month, or in that neighborhood, that's what's saving all those larger channels, and that's why they are continuing. And I don't think people realize that all the ones that are in the middle or lower are suffering severely, and they're trying to just push that message out. And that's my opinion on it.
Well, yeah, and back to what he was saying about the argument of, well, it's a corporation that can do whatever they want. It's a corporation that was built on content creators.
Right.
It was built on us. And when they come to court with 20 lawyers, that's because the advertisers are there, because the content creators are there. So they're getting paid on our backs, and that's why they have that stuff. Look, my deal is, when I really started getting serious about this, I was like, I'm going to hit 100 subscribers, and I'm going to hit the 400 watch hours, I think, something like that. And, you know, I was all gung-ho, I'm going to do this. And then hit it. And I was like, yes, all right, here we go. This is going to be great. One month later, almost exactly to the day, I got the email saying, oh, well, we're changing our guidelines. Now it's 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. So that was kind of a kick in the gut there. And I was like, well, you know, whatever. I'll keep trucking along. And then about almost a month after that, I got another email saying that somebody reported one of my videos, and so we're taking it down, we're deleting it. And it was the one where I did my Palmetto State Armory AR-15 build. It was actually my highest viewed video at the time. And I was, you know, I'm still new to this, but I was really new then, and I didn't have a copy of that video saved. So when they took it down, it was gone. I couldn't do anything about it. What I found out is the reason that they had taken it down was because I had a link to Palmetto State, their website, in the description.
Right.
So it wasn't until March of this year, I think I finally hit the new guidelines, 1,000 subscribers, and I had the watch time, the 4,000 hours, whatever. And that's when all of a sudden I went into the creator studio and I saw a link to appeal on that old video. It just basically sat there the whole time with no picture or anything. I couldn't do it. So I appealed it, and I wrote in there, look, if you guys put this back up, I will immediately go into the description and take that link out. That's the only thing that was wrong. I can say that they did that, and it was really weird. I wasn't expecting it. So that video is actually back up. But about a month after I hit the new guidelines, and I did a video of this on my channel where I actually read the email that they sent me, where they said, hey, great job. You did it. You hit 1,000 subscribers. You hit the new guidelines, but we're not going to monetize your channel because we need to see some more future content and make sure that it's safe for our community.
Wow.
And I was pissed. I actually stopped making videos for a little while, and I was this close to just saying, you know, forget it, I'm done. But I'm not going to let them win, you know, and I see all of these other small channels like mine that are going through the same thing. I've come to grips with, I'm not going to make money off of doing this. I've had people contact me and talk to me about Patreon, something like that, and I personally have a really tough time with that. I don't want to have my viewers basically have to pay for me to do stuff for them. But then these same people are saying, you know, if people do that, that's because they want you. They want to see what you do with it.
They want to see your content, yeah.
Right, and so that's, you know, what kind of evens it out. I'm still on the fence about it, but
sure.
You know, I'm a family of 6. I work 40+ hours a week. I'm gone when I leave for work to when I come back from work, 12 hours of that day. So I usually have 2, maybe 3 days where I can actually go and do stuff. And now it's getting better because it's hard work. Like we took our oldest to Vegas for his 21st birthday. And while I was there, I actually got a call back from Rock Island Armory. And I rented a car and I drove to Pahrump, Nevada while I was there for my son's birthday and met with one of the owners of Rock Island Armory, took a facility tour, and it was really cool. I basically told them, this is my vision. This is what I want to do. I know I'm not going to make money off of it. And for some reason, they saw something in me, and, you know, so they took a chance. So, you know, I got this sitting here. This is one of the 2 first T&E guns that I've ever gotten. This is the Rock Island Armory VR80, and so I'll have at least a few videos on that one, and I might keep it. I don't know. We'll see. Because I still got to buy it. And then they send me another one, which I'm not going to tell you what that is. That one's the price. So it's work, and you got to make sure that you're good. You're going to keep doing it because you enjoy it, not because you think you're going to get paid.
Right.
That's not what it is.
And the other thing is that you can't let them beat you down into thinking that, you know what, it's not worth it. These guys are bullying me all the time. You just got to keep working through it. I know it's hard. I know it's not easy. And I know when you're trying to grow at the same time, that's especially when it's tough. But all I can do is highly encourage all the channels that are still growing and trying to get to where they're going to want to be, feeling a little bit more comfortable, whether that's 50,000 subscribers or 100,000 subscribers or 300,000 subscribers. Keep working towards your goal, because I think I hope eventually this thing will get sorted out, but it may take another year or 2. I mean, that's just the way things work. Sometimes they take a long time before they get corrected. And I think that's something we're going to be dealing with for a little while longer. I don't think it's possible for them to push us out altogether. I think it's possible for them to make us feel uncomfortable. And I think that's what they're going towards. They want to make us feel so uncomfortable that we decide that, you know what, it's not worth it at all. If you believe in yourself. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry to interrupt. No, I was just going to say, we've all had that job at some point, even if it was when we were a kid and still in high school, where the boss was trying to make you quit because they didn't have the balls to fire you, or they couldn't, right?
Right.
Yeah,
It's
right.
that same mentality. It's that same environment.
It is. It hasn't changed. It's the same thing that we've dealt with for decades, right, Dave? I mean,
Right.
it's never going to change. This is just another way of doing it. This is the more modern business. And instead of reporting into an office and dealing with all this office politics and things that are going on, you're dealing with somebody who's much bigger than this and worth a whole lot of money. And so they've got all that stuff backing them up. And, do they act like bullies? Yeah, I think they do. I think they do act like bullies. But at the same time, you got channels like ours that are trying to, I'm trying to march the exact march they want me to march. And I'm trying to make sure that everything is good to go. But yet they're still demonetizing 75% of our videos. So it's just something we're going to have to deal with.
Yeah, if I upload 2 videos with virtually identical content, right? And like your channel, there's certain themes you have to your videos, and I'm the same way. There's certain types of videos I do. If I upload 2 videos that are virtually identical, first of all, they're demonetized instantly the minute I upload them.
Yeah.
But so you go through the appeal. One will be monetized and the other won't.
Absolutely.
It is completely arbitrary.
Yes.
And that to me is the biggest frustration of it, is that
Totally.
if you knew the rules and you could find out how to play by them, then you can make that choice, right?
Right.
But when the rules are just completely arbitrary and they're like, yeah, we're gonna roll the dice today, and nope, didn't turn out good for you. That's really how it feels.
There's no rhyme or reason to it at all. There's nothing that you can point to that says, you broke our policies by putting this part of the video into the video or whatever. Right. There's never any rhyme or reason to it. And like you said, a lot of times it happens as soon as we hit upload, all of a sudden the videos are demonetized. They don't even have time to review the video.
Oh no, yeah, it's just automatic.
Yeah. It's just an automatic thing, which tells me that it's a discriminatory practice. It's not okay. I don't think it's really legal. I mean, we'll just have to see how this whole thing sorts itself out. But
and the copyright scams that are going on too. I made an intro on Panzoid, which is a free community site where you can make an intro. And the last 3 times I uploaded a video with that intro, I immediately, before it even was done processing, received an email saying that I have a copyright strike on the music in my video, when that's the only music is from the intro. And so I've won it every time I've appealed it, because it's like, now they've got these people that they just go and immediately say, hey, that's mine, and maybe hope that the person who uploaded it doesn't appeal it, and then they can take that video to their site with their music and maybe get it monetized. I don't know what the deal is. It's just stupid.
One of the first things we got hit on was a 645,000 view video. Yeah. And by the time they got done doing all their BS with the video, coming back to us and saying, well, I guess it's okay, it had been such a long period of time that they took the video down that they could not restore the video, and we lost the video. 645,000 views.
Yeah, that was the Smith & Wesson Sport 2 versus Rear Air 556 video.
So I feel your guys' pain. Anybody else on this subject, Josh or Burgundy Brahma?
Yeah. Let me butt in and say we got some people in the live chat wanting to know what Burgundy has to say about that. And also, I wanted to add, is there anything possible we can do as creators? Can we all get together and do a class action lawsuit? Also, in the meantime, where else is everybody at? I know me and Beretta have been on Twitch and Gunstreamer and a bunch of different places as a backup. And it's hard to get people over there to watch our stuff over there because everybody's in YouTube, right? Which brings back the whole concept that they have the monopoly, and that is more in our favor if we were to take it to court or something like that. But the people in the chat want to hear what Burgundy has to say.
All right. So. Go ahead, Kendra.
Well, as someone who does not have enough followers to monetize anything, I don't know the struggle that you guys are going through in that aspect. What I do struggle with is I have a lot of heart for the Second Amendment and for making videos and for women and men. I get a ton of male support, but I love getting the female audience.
Yeah.
And so sorry, my little man just came out.
Okay.
So I envision just really pursuing this. Hold on, I'm
It's
gonna
okay.
mute this for just a second.
Okay.
I just want to point out that I also like chicks and guns.
Those are
Real quick.
two very good.
All right.
Very good. All right.
Sorry, guys, he woke up from a nap and had to come see he's a mama's boy.
All good.
You know, I do this for just the women. I do this for family, and it's like I see the struggle that you all go through, and I've had some really good friends in their channels completely demonetized, and it's so heartbreaking because the passion that we all have in this community is so profound, and everyone works so hard. And because I have a family, it bothers me even more because I take time away from the things that I need to do sometimes or my priorities because of my passion for this. And that means it's time away from my family. It's time away from my child. And I'm putting in the effort to make the videos. I'm putting in the effort to edit them, which takes a long time. It's not a super quick process. And some people don't understand that, the amount of work that goes into it. So I applaud all of you guys for your passion, what you do, how much time it takes to do it. I feel like there has to be a giving point where we can all come together as creators and make something change, because for the newer individuals starting these channels, it feels like they're not as enthused to really put effort into it, and we're going to have less people kind of come into this and want to create videos because there's nothing in it for them. Yeah. And you have to have those really passionate people who really want to do this just for the love of the Second Amendment, for the love of guns, for the love of this.
Right.
And we're going to see the numbers decline because of it.
You're absolutely right. And thank you very much for talking about how much work goes involved into all these videos that we make. And a lot of our viewers and subscribers know that it takes a lot of work, but there are hours and hours spent on each video putting it together. You know, people like Justin Opinion puts a ton of work into making each video, and he doesn't have a partner. At least I have a partner. I have a partner that takes care of more than 50%, because we all know I spend a lot of time at my other job. I wouldn't be able to do this on my own. So without young Beretta, I'd be dead in the water. And for those of you, Josh and Joe, who do your own thing and put your thing together, you know, I know Josh doesn't sleep at all. So, you know, you guys are awesome for doing what you're doing, and talk about how much work is being involved. Justin Opinion probably puts in the most work on every single video that he does. But
that's just because I'm the most stupid, I guess.
Well, I got to tell you, it takes real dedication, guys, to do all this. And I appreciate all of you. I hope the viewers and subscribers understand how much work is involved in putting these things together. And we do appreciate your guys' support. There's no question about that.
Yeah. So, you know, here's the thing, though, on that. To the, you know, I don't know how many people are actually, you know, watching and will watch, but if it sounds like we're all just whining and crying about, oh, poor us, you know, we're working so hard and we can't get paid. Yeah, I'll do that occasionally. I can whine and cry with the best of them. But the thing is, I never, initially, when I started doing video work and started uploading videos to YouTube, the idea was never, oh man, this is it. I am going to get rich. This is my ticket, right?
Yeah.
And then it becomes a, wow, I don't know how to achieve. I can picture in my head, you know, I've been a photographer all my life, and so it's like I know in my head what I want to convey on the screen, so I had to learn the technical tools to do it, right? And then, like you said, the editing and learn how to edit. Now, I got 3-4 cameras running at one time, while I'm shooting.
I know, man.
And I'm talking, and I'm taking turns talking to the different cameras. Now I got to go edit that together because I'm insane. But to me, it's the challenge of accomplishing that. It's like, look, this is the content I want to produce, and I'm gonna, and damn it, I don't care if I have to stay up all night. I'm doing it. I'm going to learn how to do this the right way. And I'm still a long way from there, but that's a big part of it. And I think to speak to people who are trying to start a new channel or trying to find sort of their voice and their audience, you've got to do whatever turns you on, and you've got to put the amount of effort into it that you demand of yourself, whatever level that is, and just the rest of it's either going to happen or not happen or whatever. But if you're trying to start a channel, I mean, a channel my size, I can't really make any money, not commensurate with how much is being spent to produce the content, right? So there has to be another reason, and the other reason for me is that it's a great hobby. It's a lot of fun, and I enjoy doing it, and I enjoy putting out the content, and I like telling the story or delivering the message, whatever the thing is. And so I guess the one piece of advice is, unless they do literally kick us all off YouTube, you have to do it for that reason. And I think if you go back to look the big channels, and obviously, Hickok 45 is the big of the big, right?
Right.
When he started his channel, I think it was the exact same thing. I think it was, on a lark, it was like, hey, let me start doing some videos on shooting, and we'll upload them to YouTube. And I don't think he ever thought this was going to be his retirement and his way to get rich.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And I think that's probably true of several of the larger channels. So you can get to that point, but you can't expect to get to that point.
And the other huge advantage to them, in my opinion, and this is just my take on it, is that they started 4 or 5 years before any of the rest.
They blazed the trail. Absolutely.
They blazed the trail, and when they blazed the trail, and you had 2 million people that wanted to see product on it, guys, they simply went to them because they were the product. They were the ones that were bringing it to us all. So everyone subscribed to them because they wanted to see it. So they blazed the trail. They got the early 1 million or 2 million subscribers. And hey, people are pretty loyal to who they like, what channels they like. I think we see that just amongst ourselves, is that they pick particular channels that they really like, and that's part of it. But they blazed the trail and they started it all off. But I agree with you 100%, Justin. All of us, including us, we're not in it for the money, folks, because guess what? I'm still working a full-time job, big time. There's no real money in this. You're doing it because you like it and you want to share what you're doing with your viewers and your subscribers. And I think that's true of every one of our channels here. And the other thing we do, Josh, is that we get a chance to be able to speak about what our beliefs are and to be able to share that stuff with our subscribers and our viewers. And obviously all of us here, as far as I'm concerned, we all are very like-minded. We're all very pro Second Amendment. We want to make sure we protect our rights, and we want to make sure that they're not infringed upon or taken away from us. And yes, we do bristle up against Google and YouTube because we think it's the fair and right thing to do. I think that's a fair statement.
Yeah, I'm the first guy that'll say life's not fair. The world is a harsh place sometimes, and it doesn't care about feelings. But I think some of the frustration, for me, if it's not for you guys, let me know. But for me, we're doing something that, again, is a constitutional right, and we're being chastised, but yet somebody can put up a video putting makeup on and they get 20 million views in one day.
Yeah, there's definitely different topics.
It's the fairness of the whole thing. But again, I know life's not fair. It's just being treated differently than everybody else for not doing really anything wrong at all.
Right. I agree. Okay, let's move on. Let's see what else we want to talk about. We've covered a lot of these things before I got to them. Oh, I wanted to talk about cars real quick to change gears. And just an opinion.
Was that a pun?
Do you
Yeah,
still
Is that a
change
pun?
gears.
changing gears? Talk about cars just real quick for a minute. Do you still have your Camaro ZL1?
ZL1. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. It only comes out on nice days. So.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Love it. Love the power out of it. You changed the exhaust on that one to a more custom exhaust?
No, it's bone stock.
It is.
It is. Yeah. It's bone. I can still scare the crap out of myself with it. So
Oh, for sure.
Until that changes, I don't see any reason to mess with it.
Okay, we haven't had a chance to talk about that, and I was just wondering how things were going with that. If you still had it, it's one of those cars that, and I don't know what your thinking is on it, but it's one of those cars that if you can keep it for the foreseeable future until the end of time or whatever, that car will be worth equal at least the amount that it's worth when you bought it and stuff, because it's value.
Yeah. And I didn't buy it as an investment. I've had enough cars to understand that they are an expense, not an asset.
They are, especially at first, right?
Yeah. But it was I've had every generation Camaro except Gen 5, and this is a Gen 6. So that was a big part of it. But I just like what they did with it. I like what the design team did with it, and I enjoy having it. But it's a luxury to be able to have it and only take it out on a Sunday afternoon when I feel like it.
Right.
And not have to. If I had to daily drive it or something, it would make me insane. So.
Hey, just out of curiosity, did they take the finger grooves off of the Gen 5?
Yeah.
The finger.
Nobody?
The Glocks, yes.
Oh,
yes.
No. You and your Glock friggin' comments. I love it. All right. I'll just throw something out there. I'm also a car guy, even though I've been driving a couple of X5s in a row. Many Corvettes, many Cobra Mustangs in the past you guys didn't know about. So I've been a car guy for a long time. The one that's caught my eye lately is the 2020 Toyota Supra. Don't know how it's going to look in real life, but they're saying, and I like BMWs, right? So it's got a BMW inside to the car. Basically, everything on the inside is BMW-like, and the motor is BMW-like. So borrowed from BMW and put into the car. So you got a lot of working together between Toyota and BMW as far as that's concerned. They put the car out saying it had 349 horsepower. It's been dynoed between 375 and 380. So it has 40, 50 more horsepower than what they're saying it does. And that's the car that's got my attention. I do want to look at it in person to see how it looks. I haven't had a sports car in quite a while, but that one kind of has my attention. Oh, look at that.
Oh, geez. Burgundy's breaking out the puppies.
Oh.
Show us the doggos.
We'll have to do dogs next time instead of cars. Look at that beautiful pup.
So what did I miss?
How old and who is he or she?
This is Gemma. She is a 3-year-old pit mix. She's a blue brindle.
Gorgeous.
She's my little fur baby. I treat her like my children. No. I'm not kidding.
Well, it's easy to fall in love with them. We have a couple here at our house, and they do become part of the family.
Yeah.
As just an opinion will attest to that for sure.
Yeah.
All right, guys. One more favorites question. What is your favorite polymer pistol? And yes, you can pick a Glock if you'd like to. But what is your favorite polymer pistol that you have in your current collections? Who wants to start?
HK USP full size 45.
All right, Josh says HK USP, and it's a full size
Glock 17.
Josh,
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Glock 17.
I got to tell you, the one I'm still infatuated with right now is the X Compact, the SIG X Compact.
I have not fired that yet.
Bring your wallet when you do, because you'll take it home.
I'm looking forward to shooting it. It does have some great dimensions to the pistol. It does seem to feel really great in hand. The trigger seems to be outstanding. So it is definitely on our list, Young Berettas and I list of guns that we're going to be shooting and testing here pretty soon. I don't think we can get away with not testing one.
This is if you're interested in polymer guns, this is a very, very heavy polymer gun.
Wow.
The new Legion, right?
Yeah, this is the Legion.
Oh yeah.
And it is.
Saw that.
I think they actually used the remnants of like a neutron star to carve out the grip, because it's very strange when you pick it up to go, oh my God, this thing weighs like a brick. It's incredibly heavy. So yeah, pretty interesting.
That's a really neat looking Legion. Guys on our channel, this is what's going to be coming up here pretty soon. So a sneak peek on an early gun right here. This is going to be next, probably, if not next month, the month after. But it is the SIG 220 Legion. And it is my first 220 and 45 ACP. So I am really looking forward to shooting this. So sneak peek right now, a new 220 Legion right here.
So yeah, we had to catch up to Justin at Penn because he's had his for like 2 years.
Right. I may
Are we
be
doing
late.
Sig Love right now?
Yeah,
Are we doing
there's
Sig Love?
Yeah, definitely SIG Love right here.
226 Combat, night sights, threaded barrel, phosphated controls, chrome line barrel.
Nice.
You know,
That's too many smart words at one time.
I know. I don't even know what they mean. I read it on the internet one time.
All right, but I didn't get to throw this out here when you guys were talking about wheel guns, because I don't know if you're coming back to the topic or not. But
That is
Well,
beautiful.
Wheel Guns was actually on one of my full things to talk about, but since we kind of broke into it, I kind of let that go. But the question,
Bring it back.
Bring it back.
bring it back. Okay, the official question on it, let's go back to it. The official question on it was, I wanted everyone's take on what is the revolver's role in 2019. Is it still relevant today? And if so, in what applications? Anybody
All of
want to just touch on that a little bit?
When I get one, I'll let you know.
Okay.
Oh.
Fair enough.
Don't own one.
Communist.
What is that, Kendra? Do you have one?
I don't know, but I will say that for new users, I think that it is absolutely relevant because you don't have the issues of malfunctions
Right.
like in a pistol.
Right. One thing about new users, and I do make sure I mention this to everyone who's thinking about getting it as a new user, is make sure you go and actually have some hands-on with one at a gun shop, because typically that double action trigger pull is going to take some strength to be able to pull through it on the pull. You can buy some really nice revolvers that have really nice double action trigger pulls on them, but make sure you go test it out before you just go get one. Make sure you can pull that double action trigger pull all the way through. And again, the average combat distance in a gunfight is, whether it's 5 yards or 7 yards, either one is absolutely perfect for a revolver. You don't have to worry about it being pushed out of battery. So there's none of this going on. You don't have to worry about that for close encounters. And if the round doesn't go off the first time, pull the trigger again and it automatically goes off the next time. So that's my thinking on them. I think they're very relevant. I think I agree with Justin's opinion. And when he said that they are making a comeback, I think that's true. I think there's more people that are interested in them. And I think part of the reason why is also the coverage that's being given to them. I know our channel alone, Justin's channel also has done a lot of coverage on revolvers, and I think that has spread the word out there.
Yeah, I used to have the Ruger LCR, the 257, and I really loved that one. There was a time when I had to have money, so some stuff had to go, so that was, but I would still have. They had a really great trigger. My dad has the Ruger, the 454 Casull, and I absolutely want one of those someday.
Well, I'll tell you, Joe, I think you definitely should get one. Youngbred and I spent a lot of time shooting 44 Magnum, guys, and the difference between shooting a good 357 Magnum and 44 Magnum is quite a step. I'm not sure I'd be interested in stepping up much above 44 Magnum. Quite a bit of recoil with 44, but if you want that caliber just because you want it and it's a Wildcat round, I totally understand that.
before I get into my revolvers, I just wanted to backtrack and say I love my Sig Legion 226 SAO. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys review on the heavy poly Legion. That's going to be cool. Yeah, polymer guns. My favorite is Walther PPS M2LE. That's a cool gun. But yeah, wheel guns. There's no replacement for those, man. They're ultra dependable, obviously. And I have an undisclosed number of wheel guns, but
That's good, man.
I like my old Smith snub noses for sure. But yeah, one of my favorite is GP 100 and 357 6-inch stainless. Man, that thing's it's so big and heavy that it doesn't have a lot of recoil really. So yeah, it's a fun gun to shoot. But yeah, I love wheel guns.
And it's funny, isn't it funny that after you have one, you end up with 2 or 3 or 4 because you do enjoy them. Once you spend some time getting to learn the basics and how to make them work and how to get good at shooting with them, you tend to buy a second one or a third one or a fourth one.
Yeah.
Just an opinion. What do you think? What do you think of that?
What, wheel guns?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, as far as relevance, they're absolutely still relevant. And what happened?
He's showing off 2 guns.
Oh, gotcha.
If it ain't a wheel gun, it ain't a real gun.
Amen, brother.
Do you like shooting them?
Well, the other aspect of it too, you talked about the advantages that they can have over semi-automatic for a lot of people, and a lot of that too is new shooters or people who are who don't have a lot of upper body strength or don't have a lot of hand or grip strength, and they're either intimidated by the semi-automatic or they just physically have a really hard time operating them.
Right.
The revolver can be very good.
Yes.
For those people. It's a great learning gun because there's not a whole lot going on. It's very easy to understand the mechanics of it. So yeah, I think they're absolutely relevant, and I think they probably always will be.
Well, I hope that's true. I hope that's true. I hope you're right. I think if we can sell some more and keep these, Ruger, Smith & Wesson, Colt is now getting into it again. Maybe we can get some more revolvers out there and keep spreading the love. That would be fantastic.
Hey, can I ask a question of everybody?
Yeah, buddy.
Do any of you happen to remember exactly what your actual own very first firearm was?
Yep.
So this is mine. This is what I learned to shoot on. They call them crickets now, but this is an original chipmunk from 1975 or 76. I can't remember.
Wow, that's fairly new.
The serial number is 1651. I mean,
That's sweet, Joe.
Yep, out of Medford, Oregon. So still shoots great too.
So when I turned 21, my dad was a gunsmith, and when I turned 21, he called me and said, "Happy birthday! Go down to the gun store and buy yourself a Smith & Wesson Model 10." And I went down and bought a Smith & Wesson Model 10 on my 21st birthday, and I still have it. It's never been on camera, actually, that gun. And
wow.
It will be eventually, but yeah. So that was my first.
Wow. Josh, what about you?
What was the question? I had to head out and come back in because it was robot.
It was something about sexual orientation.
Oh, okay. Well,
what was your first gun? What was your first handgun, and do you still own it?
My first handgun.
Or just gun in general. Your very own first gun.
Well, my first gun was a Savage. What is it? The 220 or something? It's the bolt action 20 gauge box fed magazine. 20 gauge shotgun. I got it from my Uncle Ray. That's not really my uncle. From our property up north. And I still have it. It's an awesome gun. I used to hunt with it. I used to shoot. They used to make, fill up milk jugs full of water and throw them in the air, and I would shoot them, and as a little kid. And now, unfortunately, the stock is cracked pretty bad. And when you put the safety on, it shoots, and when you close the bolt, it shoots. So
wow.
It's just a wall hanger at this point.
Well,
but yeah, that was my first gun. What
about you, Kendra?
First gun that I legally owned was a Walther PK380.
What about illegally?
Well, I had a Jennings 22.
My first gun was a 12 gauge shotgun that I crapped my pants the first time I shot it at 12. So that was good.
Yeah.
Not literally.
Those shotguns early on are kind of scary for sure.
Yeah.
I started with a Jennings 22 that would not run, guys, and shortly afterwards traded it on my first real handgun, which was a Browning high power 9mm that I do not own anymore.
Oh,
That is one of the guns that I kicked myself about letting go. It was a beautiful Browning high power. It functioned perfectly. I don't know why I decided to get into the Beretta clone, and I bought a Taurus PT, whatever it is, PT 11, PT 92, or whatever it was called, the Taurus copy of the Berettas. And I got that, and that was also a very good shooting gun. But I let the Browning high power go, and I wish I didn't.
That's a shame, man. I love a Browning high power.
Yeah,
I really do.
Yeah, they are awesome, truly awesome.
What about young Beretta? What was his?
Yeah,
It was a 9-shot Taurus 22 LR revolver. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. It was pretty nice, but you know, Smith & Wesson's better, just saying.
You still
Well,
got that, Beretta?
No,
Young Beretta?
we traded that like probably around the time we started the channel, and after I got rid of that, I got the Beretta 92 FS. So, yeah, the Elite Police Edition, right?
Is that where the name comes from?
Yes, as I told you, yes.
Yeah.
Pretty funny.
Go ahead and share how that name came about, Mr.
It's so terrible, dude.
No.
So, okay, I'm looking at the gun, got my computer open, and I look at one side, you know, it says Beretta USA on it. So I look at it, Beretta, I turn it to the other side, it says 9mm, I turn it back to the other side, Beretta 9mm USA. There you go. It's pretty terrible.
Well,
Yeah.
Yep, that's how it came about. No doubt. All right, so that was the Polymer pistols. Do I have anything left? Wrapping things up, guys. Oh, first of all, thanks very much for everyone coming aboard. I appreciate it. And even Kendra, you made it. Thank you very much. And I hope that those of you that are watching and subscribing to my channel will reach out and watch these guys and subscribe to their channels, because they need the support and they need the subs. So please look them all up. It just gives you a little bit more coverage that'll come your way each and every month for you to watch. And they would really appreciate you guys subbing to their channel. So please do so.
Any other topics you guys want to cover or anything like that? Obviously, we're planning on going until 6:30. It's 6:10.
Yeah, so
we could do this again. It was kind of fun.
Yeah, well,
maybe
speaking about that, not to cut anybody off, but speaking about that, Google Hangouts is going away August 1st, or changing or something. So I know me and Beretta are on Twitch and the Discord and different stuff like that. Where else is everybody at, and where can everybody find everybody at? And going forward, because I love doing these live chats myself, I love being able to actually communicate, you know, face to face with people. How and where do we continue to do this?
You know, you guys have done more research on it than I have. I'm kind of listening to Young Beretta and Terrible Tactical. I'm trying to find out what's going on as far as getting together and having these type of discussions. Is it going to be Twitch? Is that where we're going? Or
I think it's a good option. I don't know if it's the end all be all, but we're definitely on there. And I think it's an unexplored market because most of it is geared towards gaming, video games, stuff like that. But, you know, you get on the just chatting section, and we've definitely had, me and Young Beretta and some other people had some live chats already. And, you know, we get some people watching, and it would be nice to get some people on the YouTube side over to there, just because with the, you know, the Google Hangouts thing going away, I think that's a big strike against us, because this is an excellent way to get, for people watching, to get to know us personally,
right,
and how we feel, and you know, how we are in real life, and get to know us better. And I think the live chats is a big part of a channel and your community as far as your viewers. So I don't want to see it go away. And I think we should all push to be on some other platform that we can still do this. So, you know.
I agree. I think Twitch is probably the most advantageous one for us to consider at this point in time. And I know you guys are going to continue to work on that. And I think maybe after we make the transition, we get some more people to move over there and watch us and stuff. We should probably do something like this again. But as far as the way it is right now, time is running out, and I don't think it goes on past the 1st of next month, right, young brother?
Yeah, August 1st.
So it's coming up where this won't happen at all. So this was a once in a, I don't want to say a once in a lifetime opportunity, but this is a once in a while opportunity. And as far as this platform is concerned, it's going away. So this is a great opportunity for us to get some names out there, some channels that you can go and watch. And as long as YouTube is up, we'll be out there making content and creating content, and hopefully the viewers and subscribers will like it and support us for it.
I want to thank Brian for just donating $50 to the live chat.
Right.
Wow.
Nice.
Brian Parker.
Well,
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. And I do believe he is a supporter of our channel and a subscriber of our channel. So thank you very much. We do appreciate it. It will help us out and help us keep doing what we're doing. And that is our plan, is keep doing what we're doing. I think everyone here feels that way. So keep making the content, guys. Thank you very much for joining us. Did you guys want to give away any last secret on what maybe your next gun's going to be? I already said it was going to be
videos.
The SIG 220 Legion for me. Do you guys have anything else coming up that's going to be new that you're going to be featuring?
All right. Well, I'll share.
Thank you,
Neither
sir.
Neither one of these are going to be on my channel, at least not yet.
Okay.
These are pieces I'm doing for. They're both for Guns America. So this is just the Legion, the P320X5 Legion. We talked about that briefly, and very similar, the steel frame Walther Q5 match.
I like that gun, Dave. That is a friggin' awesome gun right there. And I won't tell you that we have one also, but it's coming.
It is a gun to shoot.
Yeah.
Fun.
So with this one, every once in a while, you've seen me like shoot a match or something, with a brand new gun. But so I was hosting Mag 40 with, if you guys are familiar with Mag 40, with Masad Ayub, and I was on staff for the week. And the very last day before the students all do their practical shooting exam, we do a demonstration to help them understand the sense of timing and all that kind of stuff. So I used this gun for that. So the first 60 rounds I shot, I shot this gun was with Mass to my right. I was competing against him.
That's cool.
He beat me by 1 point.
Wow. I've told you several times over the last couple of years that your shooting has continued to improve and continue to improve. So that makes sense. That's a really good gun, by the way, man. What do you think about it personally? I mean, obviously it's not a carry gun. It's more of a competition gun or a fun gun. Home defense.
Well, I've been a PPQ fan for a really long time. And this just continues that evolution. The Q5 match, which I did a review on earlier this year, I think it was earlier this year, with the polymer frame.
Yeah.
This just again takes it to the. It's funny because competition, handgun competition is sort of like motorsports. It drives innovation in car design, and competition in the gun world drives innovation in guns.
Yes.
And so obviously there's a push in competition to want heavier guns. People have, for a while it was the other way around. How much lighter can I get it? Where can we drill holes? Where can we take out material and all this kind of stuff? So I can put the spring out of my Bic pen into it and run it. But now they're going the other way. Now everybody wants it heavier. And, the main idea is obviously heavier guns are less sensitive in terms of recoil, right? So it's interesting. It's interesting. And this is actually kind of a neat comparison, the two of these. But
that is awesome, sir. And I really like that gun for sure. All right, guys. Well, if that's it, I know you guys are planning on carrying on over there at Terrible Tacticals channel. So if you want to continue to watch what you're talking about as far as the live stream is concerned, and the after talk after this live stream here, go over to Terrible Tactical. Please subscribe to Terrible Tactical. Please subscribe to Justin Opinion. Also over there, Shoot, Ride, Live, Burgundy Bomber. I mean, they deserve your support, guys. Please subscribe to those channels. Thank you very much for tuning in and watching us here. We really appreciate it. And thank you to all the panel members for showing up. I really appreciate you all. Have a great rest of the weekend. It was good spending time with you.
Thank you very much for having us on.
Absolutely.
Yeah, appreciate
Yeah,
it.
thank you.
We'll
Thanks,
do it
guys.
again.